The difference between those who succeed and those who don't, it's not talent, it's consistency. Because it doesn't matter how smart, motivated, or talented you are, if you can't stay consistent, you won't get results. But the good news, consistency is a skill, and a skill can be learned. Today I want to share with you 5 things that will help you be more consistent and stay on track. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing very well. My name is Carys, and this is where we talk about how to elevate your life, unlock your full potential, and become the highest and best version of yourself. If that sounds like content that you enjoy, then make sure you subscribe, join the family, and check out the links in the description below because you'll find things like my audio podcast, Highest and Best, my vlog channel, my Instagram, TikTok, and all of those good things. If you are ready to learn about some ways that you can stay consistent and not fall off track, then let's talk about it. Before we dive into the 5 things, I want to talk to you about finding the why. If you know me and you watch any of my content, I talk about finding the root and the source of what is holding you back. And so if you want to dive deeper into this topic, I have actually a full video on why the word why will help you unlock your potential. I will leave it linked in the description below. But when you are struggling with consistency, finding the why is extremely important, because for some people it is the fact that they don't know what to do. For some people it's that they get distracted, and we live in a world full of distractions. For some people, they rely on motivation too much, so they always ask themselves, how do I feel? Do I want to do this? And then they begin to negotiate with themselves. So before continuing on with this video, I want you to pause it for just a minute and ask yourself, why? When you were last struggling with being consistent with an area of your life, why? What was it that stopped you from continuing on the path? Let's dive into the first way that you can be more consistent, and that is to follow the plan and not the mood. Every day when you wake up, your mood can change. The way you feel changes. The level of your motivation is different every day. It is human nature. The thing is, what a lot of people do, which holds them back from being consistent, is that they ask themselves. They ask themselves how they are feeling. They ask themselves, do I want to do this? And that is when the problem sets in. That is when consistency falls off. It's because they follow what they are feeling and their mood rather than sticking to the plan that they are supposed to be doing. For example, if you are someone who wants to wake up early and you're trying to stick to a consistent 6 a.m. start, when you wake up with that alarm going, you're going to want to snooze it or just turn it off completely. But you need to follow the plan and not the mood. When it comes to eating healthy, yeah, Chick-fil-A is delicious. Yes, it would be easy to go to a restaurant and have your food made for you, then go home and have to cook it from scratch. Yes, food can be delicious, but not good for you in any sort of way. And even though you may crave that food, you need to follow the plan and not the mood. And if you want to eat healthy, if you want to nourish your body, you need to follow the plan. Whether it's work, whether it's working out, no matter what it is, no matter what area it is in your life, whatever your plan is, whatever the routine is that you're trying to be consistent with, try to stop negotiating with yourself. If you know what you need to do, don't ask yourself how you feel, because human nature keeps us comfortable. Human nature wants us to be safe. And so we will naturally choose what is easy. In this time of me shooting this, I'm pregnant. And for me, I've realized that I need a whole new level of self-control to stay consistent with my goals, because there are many days that I wake up and I don't feel like going to the gym. There are many days that I would rather eat fast food, because for some reason when you're pregnant, eating at home does not sound appealing and you want to eat everything out. But even though I want a Chick-fil-A sandwich and their French fries, I'm gonna eat at home because I want to nourish my body for myself and for my baby. I'm following the plan and not the mood. Now, I'm gonna say this before I move on to the next point. This is something that you find a balance with, because there are days that you may feel burnt out, and I've had them before being pregnant, and I've been having them during being pregnant. There are some times that you need to actually rest. There are days that you need to give yourself a break. And so I think that with all of this, you have to figure out in your head, is it that you are trying to choose the easy way, or is it actually that you need to take it easy? Is it that you need to have a little bit of balance and give yourself a little bit of grace? There is a difference between being lazy and having an intentional break. The second way that you can be more consistent is to set up rewards and consequences. Most times when people quit, it is because they don't get an immediate result. You need to fix that. We live in a world filled with immediate gratification and short attention spans. So something that you can do is that you can set little goals for yourself. When you are trying to be consistent with building a habit, creating a routine, starting something new, you can create a reward. If you do this for 30 days, if you do this for a week, then you can get this. If you don't do this and you do break it, then this is your consequence. Because our bodies and brains are naturally wired to want something in return, this can help you with sticking to the consistent path. If it's a fitness goal and you are struggling with being consistent with the gym, then maybe you give yourself 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And if you are consistent with going to the gym 4 times a week for 4 weeks, then you get to treat yourself to a cute new workout outfit. So that is your reward. However, your consequence could be for every day that you don't go to the gym, you put $20 in a jar, and that jar goes somewhere, not for you. Don't keep it to buy yourself something. It's a consequence. It goes somewhere else. Set up rewards or consequences for things that you are doing. It could be one or the other. Some people work better with negative reinforcement and some people positive. So you could do one or the other. You could do both. The third way that you can stay more consistent is to create an identity and not just a goal. You need to stop saying, I'm trying to be consistent, and say, I am consistent. Not, I'm trying to work out and I'm trying to get to the gym. I'm someone who works out and goes to the gym. Even if right now you're not, but create an identity shift in you. You are the person who does that. You are the person who goes there. You are the person who eats healthy. You are the person who is disciplined and driven for your goals at work. At the end of the day, it's not about forcing yourself to do something. It's about aligning yourself with who you believe that you are. And then the more that you do that, the more that you just become that person. I used to be a person who slept in late, rarely worked out, ate out a lot, and was very unhealthy in many ways. When I began to make the shifts in my identity, I became who I wanted to shift my identity to, because I began to speak my way into it. I am the person who wakes up early. I am disciplined. Now all of those things are part of my identity. So for me, not to go to the gym, it's against the alignment of who I am. Create an identity around what it is you are trying to be consistent with instead of just making it a goal. Number 4 is to anchor with something that's non-negotiable. Now, the other word for this is habit stacking. I love habit stacking. It's from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Highly recommend. One of the top 5, even top 3 books that I would recommend every single person read. Habit stacking is basically when you want to create a new habit and you stack it on top of one that you already have, a non-negotiable. I habit stack everything. everything that I'm trying to be more consistent with. The incredible thing with habit stacking is that it creates a natural trigger so that you're making it easier to be consistent without putting in all this extra effort because you're already doing something in your routine. Everyone's got a routine. Everyone's got things that they do on a daily basis, whether they are good or whether they are bad. You just need to stack the good things that you're trying to be consistent with on top of these other things. I'm trying to learn Spanish because my family live in Spain, and when I go visit them, I like to be able to speak a little bit. When I was trying to start being consistent with being on Duolingo, I know it's like the very classic way to learn languages or try to learn languages, but for me, it was easy. It was an app to try and learn Spanish. When I was trying to learn and create that habit to study Spanish a little bit every single day, I habit stacked it onto when I brush my teeth. So I start my Spanish when I start brushing my teeth. Ever since I habit stacked that, I do it every single day. No joke, my Duolingo streak is almost 1,500 days. That's 4+ years that I've been doing that for. And no, I can't speak fluent Spanish. I'm just learning, I'm still learning, okay? I need to spend more time on it, but for me, that's good for now. When I wanted to be more consistent with reading my Bible every single day, I didn't necessarily anchor it onto something else, but what I did do is that on my priorities list that I have every single day, it is the number one thing that I do. Number one, before anything else gets my attention, anything else gets my effort and my energy, I spend my time with God and I study my Bible. And so it is essentially anchored onto my number one thing on my priorities list every single day. When you're trying to be consistent with something, figure out how you can anchor on, habit stack those things onto something else. A bonus point that I want to add here is to remove friction points. Now, when you're looking at the things that you're trying to be consistent with every single day, you need to figure out what little things can you do that can stop the friction to make it easier to be consistent. For example, with working out, get your clothes ready the night before. Shoes, socks, everything ready to go so that you put your workout outfit on right after you get out of bed. Remove the friction point. When it comes to eating healthy, meal prep or get a meal service. If you're getting distracted and you can't be consistent with doing deep work time to study, remove the friction by removing all the distractions. See if there are particular areas in your life that are causing you friction with being able to be consistent and figure out how you can remove them. The fifth way that you can be more consistent is to build a minimum baseline. The thing is with consistency is most people think that it's going all in every single day, and that is not actually true. I do have a full video of this called Why the All or Nothing Approach is Sabotaging You. I will leave it linked in the description below. But for now, let's talk about real consistency. And that's just never stopping. It's just about not falling off completely. And by building a minimum baseline, it can help you with this. Because let's be real, there are days that you wake up and you are burnt out, or maybe you're sick, or maybe it is those days where you wake up and you feel like your entire body has just been drained of all the energy. I've had a lot of those, especially while being pregnant. Because we naturally have those days once in a while, because a lot of the times it could just be that we're feeling a little bit lazy. And so that's when you follow the plan and not the mood. But for the days that you actually need rest, it is figuring out the smallest version of your habit that you're trying to be consistent with that you can do even on the worst days, even on the days that you just feel terrible. If you genuinely feel like you cannot get a workout in, then maybe you do a 10-minute ab workout on YouTube or a 15-20 minute HIIT workout and just get something done, and then you can check that box off. If it's that you're sick and you've got a cough or the flu and you only want to sit in front of the TV and do nothing, but you feel like you need to be consistent because you've been trying to work hard on a specific project or whatever it is, spend 20 minutes, spend 15 minutes just getting something small done to check off the habit, to check off being consistent with that thing, and then take that as a win. Small efforts, small steps will still continue to move you forward. And the great thing is that typically once you start, you'll often do more than you plan to anyway. This is where what I was talking about with finding the balance is incredibly powerful, because there are days, like I said, that you just need to follow the plan. There are many days that you wake up and you don't feel like working out, you don't feel like eating healthy, you don't feel like working, etc. You just need to stick to the routine and the consistency of the things that you want to be doing to achieve the goals that you want. However, if there are days that you're on the other side of the scale where you do feel burnt out and you do need to give yourself rest and you do need to recover and reset, bare minimum. Just do the bare minimum of what the habit, what the thing is you're trying to be consistent with. Do something small, just something to make the step in that direction, and take it as a win. Give yourself some grace because you did something. Build your minimum baseline. At the end of the day, consistency is a compounding effect. Small efforts, small steps will equal the big results. It's not the things that you do once in a while or when you feel like it that will actually shape your life. It's the things that you're doing day in and day out and being consistent with. Even if it's this much or even if it's this much, it's making steps. It's making small efforts every single day. All right, let me know in the comments below, what is the main thing right now that you're trying to be consistent with? And how are you taking something from this video to actually stick to being consistent, stick to being committed? If you enjoyed this video, then you will enjoy this one next. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.